Hello again, everybody. I'm Chris. I'm all set to count down this week's 40 most played country songs in the nation, as compiled by Mediabase 24/7 for the chart week of May 10th, Mother's Day weekend 2025. Before I start counting down this week's 40 most played country hits, let's take a look back at last week's top three. At number 3 was Whiskey Drink by Jason Aldean. At number 2 was I'm the Problem by Morgan Wallen. And the number 1 song last week was Forever to Me by Cole Swindell. Now, can Cole stay at number 1 for another week? Let's find out starting right now. At number 40 this week, a tune that debuted a few weeks ago, then fell out for a couple of weeks. This week, they're back in. Here's Joe Nichols and Annie Bosco with Better Than You. We have 2 debuts on the chart this week, and here's the first one debuting at number 39. It's the 33rd top 40 hit by Miranda Lambert. It's the follow-up to her recent hit called Wranglers. It peaked at number 31 last November. Her latest is called Run. And debuting at number 38 with her first solo top 40 hit and her second overall, it's Megan Patrick. She joined Michael Ray last year with a tune called Spirits and Demons that reached number 38 in her countdown. But here she is at number 38 with her solo hit called Golden Child. Moving up 2 to number 37 this week, here's Parmalee with Cowgirl. And we have another re-entry on the chart, the tune that debuted 4 weeks ago, then fell out for 3 weeks. This week it's back in at number 36, the second top 40 hit by Warren Ziders, called Relapse. And with 2 debuts and 2 re-entries, we say goodbye to 4 droppers falling out this week: Darlin', Coming Home, Holy Smokes, and Friends Like That. On with the countdown, here's Ernest, up 2 to number 35 with Would If I Could. Up 4 spots to number 34, Tucker Wetmore with 3, 2, 1. At number 33, up 2 this week, George Birds and It Won't Be Long. Up 4 spots to 32, here's Jelly Roll with Heart of Stone. Up a couple to number 31, it's Dierks Bentley and She Hates Me. In his 10th week in the countdown, he's up 2 spots to number 30, Keith Urban with Straight Line. Up a notch to number 29, it's Rascal Flatts and the Jonas Brothers with I Dare You. Leaping 6 spots to number 28, here's Jordan Davis with Bar None. Up 2 to number 27, Parker McCollum with What Kind of Man. Moving up 5 spots to number 26, Russell Dickerson with Happened to Me. At number 25 in his 22nd week on the chart, here's Jackson Dean climbing 2 spots with Heavens to Betsy. Up 4 spots to number 24, it's Eric Church with Hands of Time. Dropping back 1 to number 23, it's John Party with Friday Night Heartbreaker. At number 22, moving up 2 this week, Shabuzi with Good News. And at number 21 for the 3rd week in a row, it's Carly Pearce with Truck on Fire. Alright, just his 4th week on the chart, he's up 6 spots to number 20, Morgan Wallen with Just In Case. Up 4 spots to number 19, it's Thomas Rhett with After All the Bars Are Closed. We have 2 songs tied for this week's fastest climbing hit. Here's the first of those 2, up 7 spots to number 18, Luke Bryan with Country Song Came On. Up 3 spots to 17, here's Nate Smith with Fix What You Didn't Break. Up 3 spots to 16, it's Sam Hunt with Country House. Up 3 spots to 15, Tyler Hubbard with Park. And at number 14, up 2 spots, Josh Ross with Single Again. Here's last week's number 1 record, down to number 13 this week, Cole Swindell and Forever to Me. That song's been on the chart the longest, at 34 weeks. At number 12, up 2 spots, here's Drew Baldridge and Tough People. Just a step away from the top 10, up a notch to number 11, Ella Langley with Weren't for the Wind. And here's the second of the 2 songs tied for this week's fastest climbing hit as it moves up 7 spots from 17 to number 10, becoming his second top 10 hit. It's Corey Kent with This Heart. Also new to the top 10, up 6 spots from 15 to number 9, is Riley Green as he scores his 6th top 10 hit with Worst Way. Here's Low Cash down 2 spots to number 8 with her former number 1 hit called Hometown Home. Moving back up 2 spots to number 7 with his former number 1 hit, here's Jelly Roll with Liar. Leaping 4 spots up to number 6, here's Kane Brown with Backseat Driver. Leaping 3 spots up to number 5, Megan Maroney with Am I Okay? And at number 4 for the 2nd week, here's Zach Top and I Never Lie. And at number 3 for a 2nd week is Jason Aldean with Whiskey Drink. The number 2 song in the nation for the 5th consecutive week is Morgan Wallen and I'm the Problem. And the new number 1 song in country music this week, taking 24 weeks to get here, and leaps 4 spots from number 5 to number 1 as he scores his 30th number 1 hit. Congratulations to Blake Shelton on his accomplishment and the song called Texas. And that is our countdown of the 40 most played country hits this week. Join me again next time, and once again, we'll count them down and find out who's got the number 1 country hit in North America.